Disclaimer, I am not sponsored by nor am I affiliated with any of the companies mentioned in this video. All opinions represented are mine and mine alone. They do not represent anyone besides myself. Your opinions may differ. That's okay. Try this stuff out yourself in order to find out if it works for you. Hi everyone, it's me, Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome to the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the premium sketchbox for May. Super excited. It actually came on time this time. I was worried I was going to be starting to get it towards the middle or the end of the month, but we are getting it at the beginning, so yay! As always, there is a lovely piece of art featured on the outside of each Sketchbox box from people who submitted. This time it is a llama, and I really, really love llamas, so this makes me very happy inside. It's very cute. If I had to guess what this one was made out of, which box, it was probably the March one with the watercolor colored pencils because the collars are there, and I'm just guessing. It's really cute. I love it. And this is art by Alicia Sloan. Her Instagram is @Uglicia, which is a good name. I like that name. I'm kind of sad that name is taken because I kind of want that name now. And as always, want your art on our boxes? Use the supplies in this box and tag us with #Sketchbox. And I don't know about you guys, but I am ready to get this opened. Like always, I'm going to open it off camera because of the amount of noise that can happen from ripping a box open. And then messing with any of the packing inside. But let's get into it. As always, we have our little menu that kind of tells us what is coming in this month's box. And judging from this, just a quick glance, and then looking at the little art flyer that came in this box, I'm guessing this is supposed to be a calligraphy box. I don't really do calligraphy. My handwriting is awful. Like, really, really awful. And that's typically not what I would do with it. I'll kind of have to see what we have exactly and figure out where to go from there later. But if calligraphy is your thing, I feel like this box might be the best one yet for you. Our Sketchbox featured artist for May is Mike Moreno. Mike Moreno is a creative junkie based out of Reno, Nevada. He geeks out on letters and design. With a degree in graphic communications and 6 years experience in the design profession, Mike has found himself with a niche focus on custom lettering. He pairs his expertise in lettering with helping brands develop their identity, strategy, and UX/UI. Some of his favorite tools to create are Tombow Foodanesque and Pentel brush pens, Sharpies, Posca markers, Apple Pencil using Procreate, and Rough Animator on the iPad Pro, one-shot sign painter's paint, acrylics, and of course the most powerful tool of them all, a pencil. Mike has been creating every day and sharing most of his daily creations since March 2017. With consistent practice, he has found himself with the opportunity to teach others what he knows. He teaches several lettering workshops around Reno and is currently developing some classes online through Skillshare. Mike is extremely grateful for the awesome community he is surrounded by and is thankful to be part of this growing community of creators. He loves to connect and help out others as they pursue their journey with lettering. So be sure to connect with him on these social platforms and tag him in your lettering creations on Instagram. His Instagram is @MikeModeDesigns. His Facebook is facebook.com/MikeModeDesigns. Dribble.com. Mike Mode Designs, and he also has MikeModeDesigns.com. This is probably supposed to be Mike Mod Designs, but because of the E, I'm trying to read it as Mode. We're so thankful of the talent that Mike shared with us. If you'd like to get your art featured, email an example of your work to us at info@sketchbox.com. And it looks like the first item we got is the Kuretake Zig brushable set in blues. And it looks like we have 4 colors in here. Oh, and I've used some of these markers before. I have a couple. I actually think I inherited some from a family member who passed, who did a lot of scrapbooking and stuff. It actually looks like there are going to be 2 different colors, and the brush tip is the same. Because those are different shades of blue. I thought it was going to be a situation where there were different sizes, and that does not really appear to be the way. The Kuretake Zig brushable set in blues this month is all about hand lettering. Told ya. The set includes 4 two-tone dual-tip artist markers with a unique feature. Each marker has 1 tip loaded with pigment from the Zig Memory System range. The other tip has a 50% tint of the same color. These markers utilize permanent, light-fast, and acid-free water-based pigments. They're great for adding depth, like in Mike Moreno's featured artist piece. And that is the lettering we just looked at. So yeah. That is these. Next we have the SketchBox Signature Color Brush in green. I have already removed this little yellow piece, which was right here to help the ink flow. And then you also have to push down. There's a thing that says push to squeeze the color through. And this guy's already getting pretty leaky. Once we got the pigment flowing through it, it is ready. This is the SketchBox Signature Color Brush Green. Its retail price is $7, and it is an exclusive item. You asked for more colors, and we listened. This is a new color addition to our line of water-based, blendable, real bristle-tipped color brushes. This is the Kuretake Zig in number 24 brush pen in gray. The retail price is normally $8. This pen is great for adding shadows to create a 3D effect with your lettering creations this month. This one does have a finer nib than what we've been using. It's another brush nib. And again, we're going to have to take off this little yellow piece and then do some squeezing to get it out. There we go. Come on. With this one, I'm actually having to apply quite a bit more pressure than I did to the other one. But you can see it kind of slowly coming out of that nib. And this, I'm sure you can see super well because it's a white on white. But we got another Kuretake Zig brush pen. This time it is a cartoonist brush pen. And it comes in white, and its retail is normally $9. This unique brush pen contains white pigment ink that's perfect for adding highlights, lens flares, and other unique elements to really make your letters pop. This one, once again, you just have to take off this yellow piece and then squeeze. I'm not going to demo it since I've done it for at least one of these. It's going to be a lot of that today, I feel like. This one is not a Kuretake. Yay. This is a Karen Brush Marker Pro in Skin. I'm assuming the color is Skin, even though it looks pink. Yeah, on here it says Skin 1.2, so maybe they have more than one color. Retail price $2.05, and this is a staff favorite. This marker is equipped with a Japanese super durable and flexible nylon brush tip. They contain non-toxic paints with an intense dye-based color. When there's an intense dye-based color, that typically means that it is not light fast. Anytime they say dye-based, you want to keep this in hiding or at least spray it with a UV safe coat. Just saying. And it has a pretty thick little pen. It's not very flexible. It's actually pretty stiff. That nib is. I said pen, didn't I? The nib. This actually looks like it might be orange. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of like an orangey color, which is apparently very difficult to see here. And it looks like you can layer it up okay. Yeah, that looks more orange than skin toned. Like, it would be skin for an orange. But yeah, cool. So we have orange and blue. Good colors to have. I got that for last month's Art Snacks thing, so it's kind of funny. You're not going to be able to read this because of the lighting, because they have that lovely, lovely, shiny writing, which is super reflective and really difficult to film. You can kind of almost read it there. But this is the Koh-i-Noor Triograph in 2B. Retail price $2.55, and this is a staff favorite. These large pencils feature a high-quality, artist-grade graphite lead. They provide a silky smooth laydown of graphite, perfect for sketching your letters. This is just a personal preference of mine. I don't like thicker pencils like this. For me, for some reason with markers it's okay, but with like a pencil, for me, this just feels like clumsy in my hand. I also have like kind of little hands, so that's probably part of it. I feel like someone who's a little, like my boyfriend would probably have a much easier time using this pencil because he's a pretty big guy. But yeah, we have pencil. So we have a bunch of markers and a pencil. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to do kind of a brief overview of everything we got. Obviously, we got a lot of markers, and I do have them grouped this way for a reason. This month's box feels like it was sponsored by Kuretake Zig. Hashtag Kuretake Zig. Because these are all from that company right here. I understand that these 4 came together. So that's a set, but that means that literally, even if I'm not counting these as separate things, half the box came from that company. I know looking at it just feels like a lot of markers. I kind of almost wish that for the white, they went with like either a ink that came in a jar, or that maybe they did like a gel pen or something just to break up what we got a little bit more, because it feels very much like a bunch of the same stuff to me. Which I also ordered the fashion box, the special edition one they have. That should be coming soon. I'm probably going to be a little bit markered out at that point, but we'll see. But yeah, let's kind of get into some of the pricing here. The set of these 4, these lovely blues, is $14.66. The SketchBox green signature color brush pen is normally $7. The Kuretake in the light gray is normally $8. The white one is normally $9, which there is a $1 difference between these two. I'm assuming it's because they're from different sections within the same company. Like maybe there's a slight difference in how they're supposed to work, even though like just looking at the packaging and everything, it looks exactly the same. But that $1, there might actually be a reason for it. I don't know. I'm assuming it's because one's a cartoonist brush pen and one's just from a different line. That's my guess. And then the Karen Brush Marker Pro in Skin Tone is orange, Oompa Loompa colored, but this one is normally $2.05. It is a very pretty orange, though. I think I'm just mad that it's called Skin. And then the Koh-i-Noor Triograph in 2B is normally $2.55. So the normal retail value of all this stuff, if you would buy it without this box, would be $43.26. So the box, including shipping, is about $40. So if you include shipping on it, you're saving about $3. So at least you're saving a little bit of money with all this stuff. I think if you want to learn calligraphy and you want to be able to do it with a set, have like an easy set, this might not be a bad one to start with. If you're going to use it for calligraphy. I am not. I am still thinking about what I'm going to do. And that might be figured out in a couple hours. But you'll be seeing it next in this video. Woo. And the paper I've decided to use today came in a previous SketchBox box. This came in the March one. It is the Stonehenge Aqua Hot Press paper. It is a smooth watercolor paper, and I think it should work pretty well with the markers. We'll find out. So I was trying to think of the colors that came in this kit, and there's a blue, a green, and that orange, which I realized when that orange dries, it's more like a salmon, so it's kind of like an orangey pink or a pinky orange. These colors together kind of made me think of oceans, and honestly, I thought about just doing a squid for a hot second, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is for May. You know what else is in May? Mermay. So I decided to do kind of a squid mermaid. Ended up using that pencil that came in the kit, the Koh-i-Noor Triograph in 2B. For sketching, I didn't like it. I kind of said earlier that it's just not my kind of pencil for this kind of thing, because it is so large in my hand. Using it to do an outline or to draw in general is going to be more difficult. It would be really good for covering large areas of a drawing, though, for shading. I will say that. So we got that sketchy outline in, and then I'm just starting to go in with the different markers and just playing around with it a little bit. And this is a 5x7 piece of paper, so it is pretty small. I did make a mistake of trying to do something that had a little tiny line work in it, because a lot of these nibs, you can get some pretty fine lines with them, but for doing stuff like that hand later, it didn't quite work well for me. Hands are always a struggle. They're something I need to practice, and towards the end of it, I ended up covering up part of it. I adjusted a couple times, but that happens. I also want to apologize right now. I'm having some allergy issues, so I am a little stuffy today when I'm recording this narration. Sorry. I also should have started with the background before I got in to a lot of the forward detailing on her. I should have gotten that figured out first. I kind of go back and forth. And that's kind of the point of doing these, though, is to do something small, quick, test out the stuff, and kind of figure out how it works. And then adjust as necessary as you go. They're good little art exercises. For the Kiritake Zig Cartoonist brush pen, the white one, it was good for pulling back out some of the whites, but I did notice that it is a little thicker. It's almost like a whiteout material that comes out of that, and it's good for lightening up certain areas. I was kind of trying to use it to erase mistakes too. Doing that was not necessarily the best way to go about it. But it is good for mixing. It's almost like a paint-like finish when it mixes in with the marker. It just got really, really thick really quick on that paper. And it also ended up clogging the tube a couple times, where it would come out, instead of coming out at the brush, it would come out underneath the brush. I had to rinse it out with some hot water to try to fix it. I think because it is a thicker thing, it was just clogging it up a little bit. The Kiritake Zig brushable set, that was actually probably my favorite thing that came in this box. The markers lay down pretty well. They mixed with each other nicely, and with the colors you can get a pretty good monochromatic look with just those. I'll probably use those again. I will not use them as the only basis for a drawing or painting. Typically when I use markers, I use them with acrylic paints or as a base for colored pencils, or even I use them with watercolor. It's always a mixed medium thing for me personally. And I do want to point out as well that these are all technically calligraphy items for the most part. So I am definitely pushing them to their limits to try to do something like what I'm doing here. It's not necessarily what they're exactly made for. And a black marker did not come with this set. I was able to mix the deepest blue that came in the brushable set with that SketchBox signature color brush in green to get a pretty deep color. with both the SketchBox Signature Color Brush in green and then the Kiritake Zig in white. The liquid came out very quickly with both of them, and it could be hard to control sometimes. I also noticed with the SketchBox Signature Color Brush in green that when I would put the cap on, it would actually fray the bristles on the brush. Because when I push it down, it pushed some out. It's as though there wasn't quite enough clearance for the cap to actually go around the brush without it doing that. The Kiritake Zig number 24 brush pen in gray. It didn't seem to have as many issues as with the liquid just kind of spurting out of it randomly. I did use it for some of this dot work that I'm using right now. I actually kind of use that to simulate how squids have that pattern. They have little dots on them. I kind of wanted to pull that into the mermaid. And I think it was cool. I think I was able to get a lot of textures in this drawing by using the markers. And I think at the end it almost doesn't look like markers were used. Also with the brush pen in gray, this is just a personal preference. It's a really light gray. And with the other colors, I was kind of having an issue being able to figure out where to use it. I wish it was almost more of a medium gray, because in a lot of ways it almost just doesn't show up. So for the Karen Brush Marker Pro in Skin, you probably noticed when I was testing it out that it peeled off a chunk of the paper and the marker itself sheds a little bit. That marker absolutely ripped certain parts of this paper to shreds. And I thought, because this was a watercolor paper, that it could handle it can usually handle a pretty good chunk of liquid on it. That's usually how watercolor papers work, even smooth ones. For some reason, that particular marker just devoured this paper. And especially when I went through more and more layering, it almost ripped through. There's a point where I'm trying to like peel back a tiny bit of color with my finger, which I've done many times with watercolor paper, and a good little chunk of the paper came right up. So even though it mixed really well with all the markers, I would definitely say this one should only be used for lettering. It shouldn't be used the way I did. I don't think it's made for that. I will say though, some of the areas where it did rip through the paper and peel it up, it kind of works because of all the texture I already have. For this piece, it's okay. It worked out for it. But certain parts of this project are incredibly fragile because of how much paper it ate through. I did like all the different textures that I was able to get with these markers. They did all blend together pretty well. I was able to get some painterly kind of effects with it. But I do want to point out once again that this is probably not what most of these markers are made for. They are typically supposed to be for calligraphy, and it just, with the amount of layering that I did, especially when it was still wet, they're just not made to do that. That's all it is. I do want to point out that the Karen Brush Marker Pro, which is that kind of peachy color, that just by doing this project and cleaning off the nib in between, that the ink in the marker is almost half gone, or pretty much half gone. The good thing about that marker is that the barrel is clear, so you can see exactly how much ink you have left. I don't know how I feel about that much ink being gone already, especially since I didn't use that color as much compared to some of the other ones. Overall, I'm pretty ambivalent about this box. I didn't really have anything that I loved out of it, but I also didn't really hate anything because I'm, once again, using these products for something they're not really made to do, so I can't really get mad at them for not working the way I want them to work. Out of everything in here, the stuff I'd be most likely to use again would be the Kiritake Zig brushable set in the blues. And I'll be using them probably as just like accent colors in other mixed media projects. But this project here is almost done. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, or concerns, please let me know in that comment section down below. If you have used any of these products specifically for calligraphy, let me know how they work for you. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. I do SketchBox reviews and unboxings once a month here on my channel. Once again, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and hopefully I will be hearing from you soon. Bye!